Hello everyone, this is Techstack here. Let's get started. Send out the message. Release the hounds. Yes, send now. I know I've done that. It is time. It is time. So let's start this up. I'll show off a little bit about what I did the other day. Apologies for not streaming the last couple days. Kids brought home a cold. You can probably hear it in my voice a little bit. But, yeah, it is what it is. Gonna try and not let that stop us today, though. Hey, Fusion. How's it going? The other part about the reason I wanted to stream today is tomorrow I leave for a work trip. It won't be back till late on Wednesday, very late. And that means no stream Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. It also means I can't work on it at all, the mod, which is kind of disappointing. But it is what it is. Still getting over this cold, man. I don't know if I sound different or not, but I've got some nasal stuff going on, so apologies if I sound funny, or if I have to cough or whatever. But I wanted to show this off. So here is the tower crane. I know it's derpy with its claw down inside of it, but that's easily fixable later. So I'm going to select a particular blueprint. It lists out the items that are required for that blueprint, you know, the blocks. It does not run unless it has those items. I've also got this debug information I've put up at the top. For my purposes, right, it tells me the current coordinates it's working on, the next item it needs, right, in order to continue on, and then the current state, the state being how I animate this arm, basically. So it's sitting there in state 1 and will sit there continually until I add citronite ore, which if I add citronite, it goes and starts placing the next block, right? And it immediately updates what it needs next. In this case, it's another citronite ore, so I'm going to put a couple of these in there because I think there's like 3 it needs or something. 3 or 4. Okay, and the next thing it needs is nether brick. So it's got citronite, it's waiting another brick. This thing is working just as I want, right? And it's going to sit there and immediately comes back and says, as soon as it places it, it recognizes it and says what the next item is. So my idea is behind this, this next item piece of this will probably be somewhere over here and just indicate what it's waiting on. That way you're not unsure of what's next, right? Because it might need 2 unobtainium ore, right? But that doesn't really help you know what's next, right? What is currently holding it up. So that's what that's about. I keep making what I call good progress on this thing, but it needs so much work still, right? It needs to, in its GUI, have an option or something for showing the area it's trying to build in, right? Like a outline of it, so you know you've placed it right, like it's build area. It needs maybe a way of adjusting within the 32 by 32 limits where it's going to start placing the blocks for this particular one. We did show a little bit of the rendering a few days ago where we can render a ghost image of it, but it's a little bit buggy. As far as rendering faces between blocks, so like if you think about these 2 blocks, there's a face right here in between them, it would render it. That might be a good way of rendering or representing what it's going to build and where it's at, if we can get some other setting button down here or something that lets you pick what's needed or whatever. And I just realized this needs to be moved over 1 pixel, doesn't it? Because that is what is wrong there. So I'm drawing a tower crane background and a second tower crane background, and that's what's going wrong there. So that needs to be 2. Yep, that fixes it. Cool. So 1 pixel over too far, because that little pixel there is what was getting rendered. Okay. So we've got the blueprint selection. We might have another button later on for settings, moving around in world space where it's building at. This needs some type of label so that we know what it is that we're showing here, and some scroll bar buttons to page through the different pages of it. And then this next item needs to move down here. So why don't we work on that? Let's take the code that's building out that next item, or that debug line, and modify it here. So I'm going to take this off, because I no longer need to know what the coordinates and all that are. That was all for me. Right, so let's take this line. Move it down here. Let's take all of that out. That'll be the item name. We don't need any of that. Okay, and that will be rendered with this line. And we can modify its X and Y coordinates to put it where we want it. Sorry if not talking much. I've been treating your students more like a podcast while work. Yeah, that's fine, man. Some people like to just listen, I understand. In fact, I need to turn that on, don't I? Always forget that. And like, I totally understand not even watching it sometimes, right? Because I'm coding. I get that that's boring. I'm not stupid. But sometimes it's interesting to take a peek at it when something happens, right? Of interest. So let's move this down. Or move this over, I guess. So we need to go like, let's try 100. And okay, so that puts unobtainium or there. We need to be like another 50 at least. There's 25. There we go. And we need to go down, let's say 15, 20, 18. Oops. That's probably a good spot. Let's try and get it lined up with that left though. So 172 would be good. There we go. And we can, before that, just say here, and we're not going to do blueprint name, we're going to be something else. We're going to say next item. We will localize this though, so I'm just temporary for now, so I can get it set up. I'm going to say minus 10. It's not bad. See if we try and line it up a little bit better. That fits pretty well. Yeah, I think I'm going to stick with that. We might adjust the height of where these items start. Maybe even try and render a line across. I don't know. No, we'll put a word in here that says missing items. Or right now it's not missing. I shouldn't say it is missing yet. I want to make it missing, I believe. So, or needed items. Probably needed items makes more sense. So I kind of need to have a couple pieces of information. So right now when I'm getting that list of needed items, it is calling this function. This function right now takes the tower crane's inventory and the block state array. Currently we're only looking at the block state array and going through it to see what all is needed. We are not taking into consideration anything that's already in the inventory of this block to say you've supplied 10 nether brick, but we need 11, so you actually need one more, right? We should be able to do that. We're not returning until down here. We can still manipulate the list of needed items based on what we need. And that's what we can do next, I think. Let's try that. So let's look through the inventory, loop through the inventory. So inventory, we're gonna do a for loop. Come on. over an array. I will work for me. We're not going to do inventory length. We're going to do inventory length. Inventory dot. Oh no, it's not going to be length, is it? Not get field count. Get inventory size, I believe so. Returns the number of slots. Yep, that's what we want. Okay, and then we can say, so we need an if statement on this. So if needed items dot get item. Oh wait, this is an array. Right. So we need to loop through the array as well. So we can do that here. We've already got that established. That gives us our item stack. So inside here we can do some checks. So if is dot get item equals inventory dot get stack for in slot, and we'll give it a slot of I. So it's the same item dot get item. Okay. Same item. Check meta. So if is, we also need to check to see if it's empty in that slot, right? Because if it's empty, that's going to give us problems. So this needs a check up here. It says if is empty. Item stack dot empty. Okay. And then we need a null check on it too. And that is not null. Okay, there we go. So if is dot get item dot, wait, it was right there. Get item damage. Is dot get item damage. Okay, equals inventory dot get stack and slot I dot get item damage. Same meta. Okay, so now we can say how much is in the net inventory slot and reduce how much we have on our needed items stack by that amount. And we might need to do another loop through the needed items to remove. Yeah, it's gonna be a little pain. So I guess is dot set count, and we're gonna set that count to is dot get count minus inventory dot get stack and slot I dot get count. Okay, and then we'll say is dot if is dot get count is less than 0, then we'll do some other action, right? If it's less than 0 or equal to 0, we probably should set it to 0 first off. Okay, and then we can say needed items dot remove see, we don't have the instance here like it's index or anything, do we? Let's see, does this iterator give us an index? So iterator dot index dot, nope. Maybe we can do this another way then. So int j equals 0. J is less than needed items dot count dot size. There we go. And then j plus plus. We no longer need this. We'll instead say needed items dot get for j okay, and items stack. I'm afraid we're gonna get a concurrent modification issue. We'll deal with it if we do. I don't have restream going, do I? No. It'll be fine. Then we're going to remove based on J, right? Because we're on that particular one. And what we need to do is then... Yeah, just end the code, please. Where was it? Okay. We need to get out of this for loop when we hit this point, right? Because we've taken the inventory for that given slot enough to where we don't have to worry about that slot anymore. Or any of the other slots, right? Because we've reduced it all the way. So a little bit of an optimization thing. So we need to set J equals needed items dot size. Max out to end the loop, please. Okay. And in theory, this should just work then, right? So, because we're limiting each stack to one stack here, right? There's only ever going to be one stack of one type in there. We're going to reduce that given stack by whatever's in the block's inventory. If we had too much, we're going to be less than 0. We don't care. We don't ever have to remove from another stack that remainder. So this should just work. I think it's good. We're going to try with this. The other piece that I need to add to this that's not in here yet is it needs to take into consideration where it's currently at within the overall build process, right? So if we're 50% done building the machine, it doesn't need to look at the first few blocks that it's placed or the blueprint calls for, right? Right now it's looking at every block that the blueprint calls for. It needs to start at that given point where it's at in the progress and tell you what's missing. And that should be doable. Like, that should be fairly easy to do. We just need to pass to this method what the current X, Y, and Z coordinates are, and then start, instead of at 0, at those current X, Y, and Z parts, and we should be good. Maybe. No, that won't work, will it? Dang, that's going to be harder then. Because what's going to happen is if we're at Z3, it's only going to go from 3 to 5, let's say, and never go from 1 to 0 on the next pass, like the next layer up. Ugh. Yuck. So, I'm going to calculate that. I'll have to figure that out in a second. So, we say blueprint this one. Okay, so let's put in one nether brick. It's immediately going to get removed, that's a problem. Yeah, cool. Goes to 9. I need citronate, so I can put them all in. Okay, we've got 12 in there. If we take them out, it needs 11, so it doesn't care that there's extras. Now it wants 2 nether brick stairs. Let's put 1 stair in. Awesome. Put them in different spots. It doesn't care. I can't put citronite in because it's going to start running. Azurite. Iridium. Unobtainium. And then what if we've got all the citronite we can handle? Perfect. And this is the part where it's already placed that first citronite, so it wants another one. Nice. I'm liking this. This is gonna go good. We can put a scroll down button here, a scroll up button here, and the list in between those 2 points. You know, say it goes down to like, I don't know, 10 items. We'll just have that page through there with the 10 items. Cool. The list will grow like this as we're placing these until we fix that other bug. Okay, so let's fix this other one then. So in this, we can pass a current X, Y, and Z. Int current X, int current Y, int current Z. Okay, so now the fun begins. We need a little bit of an if statement here that basically says, are we on the same Y and Z when we're looking at that X, the current X, or not? Because every other Y and Z, we need to look at X0, basically. It's gonna be hard to draw this out even to even try and visualize it because it's in 3D space. Can I just go into Minecraft and think this through? Let's. Oh, we got air. Tower. That's not what we want. Yes, it is. Our crane dot current X. Why? So let's think this through. I'm trying to think it through here, but I don't think we actually need to monkey with this part. Instead, we need to do it inside here because we need to do this as an if statement. So something like if X equals current X. No, it's not even that. Oh boy. So we need to do that here so we can get all 3. So if Z equals current Z. What are we gonna do? I don't know yet. Let's think this through. Getting hungry already. Okay, so let's set up outline of this. So we're gonna have these 5s be our area that we're gonna build in, and let's say 5 that way, We'll just do it 2D for now. We won't worry about the other dimension. So let's say we've placed the first 3 blocks, and we're here. So we need to start when our Y and Z match. We need to start at that current X only. So we need to ignore anything that's less than that current X. So let's do that, what I just said. So current Z equals current, or Z, and Y equals current Y. Then and X is less than, X is greater than current Y. Current X, good grief. Then we can do all this stuff. Because X goes first. X would be, I guess we need to be, yeah, that should work. We might have to make it equals to or greater than instead of just greater than, but the idea should be the same. That's one of the many conditions we have to be here. Let's try it. So come in here. It needs nothing, it says. Go back to the blueprint. Okay, so you just need everything. It doesn't need anything because it's got it all. Please hurry up and get everything out of here before it builds too much. Okay. I don't know if it's like halfway through its process or what here. Let's break everything. Let's break the tower crane as well. There we go. So we know it's all reset. So it should need everything. It's not. So why? What's our current X and Z then? Okay, let's put those labels back in here if we can. X, Y, and Z. And we'll just do this as a this dot font render dot drawstring. Really? Boom, there we go. And we need a X, Y, and Z, or X and Z. 0, 10. Let's do 10 on both of them. They're going to be like off in a weird position. That's fine. And then the color. Save. Really? Is it just drawn? We can't see it because it's dark? Oh yeah, it is. Wow, okay. Well, if I make this 0, what color does that make it? It's dark enough we can see it. Cool. So it's at X1. So let's look at this. So that would mean the first time through the loop, it's going to have equal to current Z and current Y. But this current X is not going to take place, right? Because it's going to be 0 and we're greater than 0. Or 0 is not greater than... Wait. 0 would have to be greater than 1, and it wouldn't be. So it'd fail through. And then the rest of the times, it would also fail because we don't have the other conditions in here. Okay. So what would those other conditions be? I know we need to mess with the current X and current Y, but I want to get X working alone first. Citronite ore and nether brick. That is actually correct. It needs citronite ore and nether brick still. Because that first line, that's all it is. But it's not looking at the other 2 lines because we don't have any conditions for them. Okay. Or that and that, but we're going to change these out. So where X is the same. It can't be that, right? Or greater. No, we're not on the current X. X is not on the current X. So we're on the next line up, let's say. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm thinking this through correctly. Let's do a simpler scan too, so that I can look at it and just say, yes, this is correct. So let's get stone. And we'll make a 3x3x3. Okay, there's our 3x3x3. We'll get our hollow scanner out. We'll say 3. Oop, too many. Perfect. Oh. Stone 3x3x3. Boom. Okay, go into this and change the blueprint to stone 3x3x3. Needs 18 stone. So 3 on the bottom, plus another 3, that'd be 12, plus another 3 would be 18, so that's right. If I give it 1 stone, when it places it, awesome, I placed it over there, cool. Now it needs 9 stone, it's saying. That's not correct, because it's not taking into consideration the rest of that level or something, right? It's only the next 2 levels up, so let's figure that out. So current Y is greater than. We only need to exclude what's already been done up to that point in the process. If we did that, what's it do to us? It says 18. Okay, so that's not correct. So, okay, and Z is greater than or equal to current Z. Still 9, but if I did this, it goes back to 18. So X is 1. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I got a request from somebody to look it through the Minecraft code and see what it used for the mining of the cracks. Might do that in a minute. I don't know that it has a specific color blending though, because when you, if I go create game mode 0 and I start punching this, the cracks that are formed are always the same color. Always that dark color, I believe. Summon, no, wait, summon, set block glass. Oh. That glass. Minecraft glass. So when I go to do that, it's even the same color there. Anyway. I think it's an actual texture. It's just applying the texture sizes. That one. I know there's going to be multiples of these that we need to do. We need to check the X first because that's the first one. We need to have a condition. Let's do these in order so that it makes visual sense. X, Y, Z, right? Okay, so if go through all different possible combinations and figure out what's appropriate. Or okay, so X is equal to current X, but we need the Y to be the same or equal and current Z to be the same or equal. Oh, I gotta put the whole thing in a big parenthesis. There we go. It gives us 18. It goes to 9. Oh, what'd I do? Oh. While that's starting, let's see if we can get that block break animation. It's probably going to be on the client only. So block hardness is going to have something to do with it, so let's call that hierarchy on that. I don't know where it went. Call hierarchy. That's the crane. Get block hardness. Block destroy. There we go. Called when a block is destroyed. Try a harvest a block. There we go. This is in try to harvest. Layer digging. This is processing a packet for player digging. Where's the definition for that? Process is initiating, stopping, doing on a particular spot as well as the. Hello.
Hello.
Hey, Fire. How's it going?
It's going. How's your hand doing?
Okay if I don't overdo it. I know if I sat here long enough, I would eventually start. Because that's what triggered it in the first place, right? So.
Right.
I'm not seeing it here. There's something in the block render probably that's doing it. As if it's breaking or something. Life is futile. Oh, you feel like grinding, huh?
Not really, because the server that me and Air are playing on is not a grindy server at all.
But its life is futile.
Yeah, but it's not like the Life is Futile that you know.
Okay.
Yeah, the server we're on, they have all the restrictions taken off, so you can gain every skill that you want, and they have the skill multiplier turned up to like the roof. So your skills gain up like instant, like you can dig up dirt like huge blocks at a time. Like it's basically like playing Minecraft.
Cool.
So we can actually get things done. Plus, not only that, we had started a base on here and somebody raided it without warning and totally just destroyed it. So the ops like gave us a whole new spot on the map and basically gave us everything we could ever dream of.
Cool.
So yeah, this is not the typical grind that I'm used to. Like it took me all but like 30 seconds to go from a beginner blacksmith to a grandmaster blacksmith.
Well,
like not even kidding.
30 seconds seems a little excessive, but okay.
Well, considering it normally takes me upwards of like a day and a half, 3 days to master out my blacksmithing, yeah, I'll take it.
Right. Oh, this isn't even getting used there? What? Render block. This is to state map. What's this do? Model block.
So what you working on besides the mod?
Somebody asked me a question from a team that's working on another game, is wondering how Minecraft does something. I'm just trying to look at it real quick. It's turning out to not be quick.
When does that stuff ever turn out to be actually quick?
I know. So there's a map of textures, okay. Let's see, the word break is in here. Break. Nope. About progress. Nope. Basically, they were wondering about how Minecraft does the block breaking progress. And, like the little cracks.
Right.
And how it applies that to the thing. I think it's just a texture. I think it's just one texture. Or one series of textures. But, like, they don't take into account the color of the block that they're breaking. They just make a black crack on it. Always. May just respond with that. add dot texture over the block. Additive effects. Okay, so back to what we were working on, which was this GUI here, and we do this stone 3x3x3, and it says we need 27 stone now, so that's clearly wrong. This got a message like to someone else from my boss. He said, "Thanks for jumping OMG it instead of on it because he's in a hurry." Okay.
Oops.
Yeah, exactly. 3x3x3. Let me just make sure I'm doing my math right. I thought it should only be 18. So 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. Wait, what? There's... Oh, wait, it's 9 in the first row. Not 3. 9 plus 9 plus 9. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So I was wrong before. I'm glad I made that bug in the code because it made it right. Like, it wasn't working the way I thought it should, but that's the right way. Gotta love when that happens. Okay, so if we put 1 stone in here now, it says we need 18. We should say we need 26 though. Knowing what's already placed in the world is becoming very hard. I've got it to the point where it looks at what's in its inventory and subtracts that out from the items it needs to be in its inventory to finish the project, but I can't go and say this part's already done, don't include this, because it's actually kind of a pain to figure that out. So we can say this, right? It's the same result. Yeah. Okay, so if x is less than, we can only do that if y is greater or z is greater. Right? What is the error at? There. Oh, it crashed. Cool. Oh, it thinks there was an error still, but there's not. Okay. So if we're on that X or above, we're only gonna look at the current X. No, if we're on that level, we don't equal that current X. We should, yes, yes. Oh, I run a derp. Okay, 3x3x3. It says we need 25 stone. There's the 27. Okay. So I'm gonna keep my code off on the other screen for a moment. I'm gonna add 1 to it. It's gonna move, it's gonna place that. It still thinks it needs 27. Okay. Let's do it this way. I'm going to take a whole different approach to this. So we're going to say x start. Let's see, that's a int start x equals current x. Y, and z, and z. Start x is going to be that. Start y, start z. Okay. So we'll loop through the z's first. To make sense. Yes, terminate. Once we're through the z's, so I think what we need to do then is just set it back to 0 after that. Start equals 0. That should be the next one. Yep. That's where we set start y back to 0. And then start x back to 0. That should do it. That's way simpler than the other way, if this works. Alright, we would need to get rid of one of these brackets. There. Like email when you go live, it seems that wouldn't be hard to implement. But on the other hand, big Twitch streamers just have set scheduling away. Exactly, CZ. Yes, it is, Luke. Because it was very encouraging. It makes me want to work on it more. So it's 27 stone, it says it needs. It immediately says it needs 18. Okay, well, what happens when we put another one down? 9. Clearly this is not working. 26, cool. Yeah, and I know why it's not working, and it should be fairly easy to go through and fix if it wasn't for this part of it. Because we won't know the X to fix the Y. Oh, great. It's just going in the wrong order. How do I process that in the tile entity then? So let's look at that. Did I really increase X first? I have to, don't I? Can I make it go a different direction first? Where is it? That's not it. We want this. But we don't want it maximized. There we go. Set claw holding. Update. There it is. Yeah, so we're always adding 1 to the X first. So this gets incremented 1 at a time. Then this gets incremented. No, then Z gets incremented. What? XZY. Why did I do it that way? That's not actually how it builds, is it? Yes, it is. Oh my gosh, I'm stupid. Okay, so I didn't realize it because I've been building like narrow things, but it's going to place the next block over, say, here, not up. Because it builds like an entire floor across. Yeah, let's just watch it build. Yeah, okay, so it's over there. Then the next one will be there, right? And then it'll go up 1 layer. So why is the last thing to move up? Or to increase? So if I did flip these, what's that do to us? We won't have the X set for the first pass, and it's going to fail because it won't know. But we could set it to start X. We could declare them outside the loop. That would work. For the initial pass, set them outside of the loop. Let's just try this. This is likely to crash all over the place on me. Just want to give it a shot. Okay. And then what we've done that, we've got the initial values for all of these, right? So we can then say X before Y. And doing that, we need to do X before Y down here. If y is the first thing we're going through, y is never considered. Let's see what this gives us. It's gonna either get stuck in an infinite loop or be somewhat closer. Okay, just crashed altogether. Yeah, didn't like it. Index out of range. Okay, I guess this way is not gonna work then. Okay, and we get rid of one of these because that's. There we go. So how am I gonna remove what it's already placed? So I could look at what's in the world and do it that way in the build area, but not really wanting to have to do that. We can add them in and then take them back out, right? We can say from 0 to current X, get rid of. We would just have to do it in the right order then. That's one possibility. It would be very similar to this code down here, right? Where we're just removing or setting it to 0. Let's try that. So we're going to have the 3 for loops again. Oh, wait, we need to set this all back to 0, don't we? And we're going to start at 0. And we're not going to go to these values. We're going to say as long as we're less than or equal, less than the current X, current Y. Or current Z. And we're going to take X out of there and put it down here. And X is actually the first one to go, so there. Remove as needed. And we're going to say basically that stuff. So we're going to say XYZ if it's not air. Then we're going to get the item for that particular XYZ coordinate. It'll never be 0 in size for the needed items. We need the... I guess it could be 0. Hey, you. How's it going? If it's 0, we don't need to do anything. So we don't even have to have that check. There's nothing to remove at that point. That's what that means. Okay, and then... we're going to loop through the items. In the list, if the items are the same. The server did not get updated, no. There hasn't... like, I was considering doing it, and I guess I want you guys' opinion. Should I update it to get things like the what's it called, the turbo furnace bug where it's duping items in regular furnaces fixed on the server? just for those bug fixes. The tower crane's not ready to use, so it'd be no real features. So we're gonna get the block. We're gonna find where the block is the same as what's in the item stack for this thing. I also just realized there's another bug in this. We need to check meta on this as well. Well, maybe not. Maybe the items are different. We'll see. If it's found, then we'll just... so we gotta add the item stack back in. Well, if it's not found, we don't do anything. Because it's not in there to remove. So we don't need any of that. I've just been doing creative taking coal and giving blaze rods instead. Oh, okay. I mean, using the turbo furnace works too, right? If you just use that, then it's not going to dupe anything extra. It works. It's the vanilla furnace that's screwed up. And then we need to say if the count is less than. We need to do our loop like this so we don't get a concurrent modification exception. And that means we do this instead. And then we can say remove J. If its size is less than 0. And because we're removing, we no longer need to loop through the rest of that stack anymore. It's the only one again. In theory, this might work. We'll find out. You think that's funny, Fire? It might work.
Isn't that how like all of the whole mod is? I mean, like
yes, it's all just rubber bands and scotch tape. It's just, there's nothing in here that's like precise. The way I do every one of the animations is I just run it. Oh, that doesn't look right. Let's modify it to a 3 from that 2. Oh, that doesn't look right. Let's make it a 4. Oh, that doesn't look right. Let's make it a 6. Oh, that's too far. Let's make it a 5. Oh, that looks good. There we go. I don't know what it's supposed to be. I'm just making this up as I go. I'm a complete idiot. I can just guess really good, I guess.
Well, you're less of an idiot than I am. All I could do is come up with ideas. You actually make the magic happen.
Yeah, but I don't even have to come up with ideas. I just have to guess until I can implement those ideas. What the heck? Oh, it had one inside of it still. That's interesting. Didn't do a thing to it. What the heck? How is that not working? Switch, yes. Not that part. Oh, it's never getting to that part? What? How? The heck? Oh, equal to. Yeah, the very first block it placed down eagle was from the hand. It had it in its hand inventory, basically. Yeah, now it's actually getting out into it. So that was a bug. I needed that equal sign in there, too. Wait, what? Now it says it needs 23. Let's restart it. It might be working. Ah, and it crashed immediately.
Well, to be real, it worked for about 3 seconds.
I know why
it
it
just
crashed.
didn't make it past the startup.
Yeah, I know why it crashed. I just put this part in the wrong section here. That's just there. You didn't see anything. Bug fixed. I guessed, and I guessed wrong, so I fixed it when I guessed it wrong. Oh. Why do I have to have a cold on top of all this? I'm not going to be able to work. So I know there's more people actually watching now. I said this earlier. I'm not going to be able to work on this Monday night, Tuesday, or Wednesday at all. I have to travel for work leaving Monday night. And that means there's no stream those 3 days. We'll see how it's going to work out on Thursday. I hope that I can come back and have like a normal day Thursday, but maybe it'll be a little bit busy. I get to go to Indiana.
Indiana, huh?
Yep. I've driven through it many times. I've flown over it many times, but I've never had to go to Indiana for work.
Yeah, it's flat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Flat.
Like I said, I've driven through it many times.
Like, I actually hate going through Indiana because of it being so flat that when you're driving, it almost puts you to sleep how boring the lay of the land is. You know, not to say that Indiana's a bad place. You know, it's just I don't know.
I live in Ohio. It's not that much different. It's so flat. At least the part to the north and west of where I live. Now, if I go southeast, it starts getting a little bit hilly because it gets closer to the Ohio River, right? But where I used to live in northwest Ohio, like it was where the glaciers went through, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was perfectly flat. The only hills you got around there were where rivers run through and have carved out the land down, right? There was nothing up from that. Okay, so we're so close. It's just because it's on the first one. So once this first one comes through, it should be right, I think. No. The heck? Three by 3x3. Needs 27 stone. Put one in, it goes to 26. It's gonna pull it out of its own inventory, so we need to check the state too, maybe. Now it's at 26 again. It went to 25. Then once it places it, it's 25. Okay. So we need to somehow look at the state as well. Let's put 16 stone in it. It's still not working, is it? That's awesome. I don't know what it's doing now. What the heck? It's just all over the place. So, okay, so now it was correct for a minute, and then it goes wonky again. It went from 14 to 22 that are needed still. X first. X increases first. Okay, what? Yeah, X then Z. Yeah, okay. So I'm looking at the coordinates up here. So it goes X, then Z, then Y. Huh. X, Y, Z. Or X, Z, Y. So X would go first, then Z, then Y. That is correct. This just changes the order we're going through the array. It shouldn't matter. Let's leave that in there. Needs 24 stone. 21. Now, how did I get rid of 3? Hey, guess what? Let's stop working on the tower crane for a bit. Let's work on one of these other machines that won't drive me bonkers. Underground loader, underground dump truck, laser miner. I think laser miner we have working. It's always on, but we need to only render the laser beam when it's got a player in it. It looks like it's off if nobody's writing in it. Jump, jump. So laser miner. Let's make sure when it's on update that it is only making sure that somebody's written. It is. So we can look at its render and do something similar. Machines. Laser miner. So this is where it's rendering the beams, so we can say entity dot is being written if it is being written, or render the beams. So no beams, beams. Yep, perfect. It's interesting. There's no way to turn it off, but I'm okay with that for right at the moment. If you jump in it, it's going to break stuff. It's kind of like the continuous miner, right? It does the same thing. Okay, so for this one, the loader, you've had your fill of stars and you know it, man. So it's rendering the animation correctly. It's just that the bucket is not fixated at the end of the pivot point, but it is rotating it correctly. So if we go to, where is it? Underground loader. It's gonna have a bucket rendering somewhere, right? Actually, let's look at that too. Oh, does it have inventory? It doesn't have inventory. Or at least no GUI for it. Was I sitting in the wrong spot on the other one? Let's look. I'm good there. Okay. Yeah, there's going to be several bugs with this. All right, so this was added just the rendering basically only. Wow. Or just the model only. And never got set up properly. So somewhere in here we're going to have a bucket rendering. So that's trying to render items in its bucket down here. It's getting the stacks and the slots and all that junk. But the underground loader doesn't have the proper name on this, so model underground loader. And bucket name. Okay, so this is the stuff we need to modify. So let's get both of these on the screen at the same time. Boop. Boop. And this translate is the one we need to mess with. So let's make a big adjustment to it. Right? Oh yeah, I did it. Okay. So that moved it up there. Let's see if we can get the bucket all the way down. Okay. Actually, let's build a pillar. Oh, you can see it if it's even if it's unders. Okay, so obviously that's wrong. We want to be back at 1. Is that all we needed to do? And maybe we'll go forward a bit more. 2.25. Is that a... Is that a what? That is a 2-tier machine. Cool. Seems to be working. Looks ridiculous. It might be the wrong colors, yeah. There was nothing that said that those had to be the colors for all tier 2 machines. That bucket goes way down there too far too. We might need to set some limits on it. Unless we want it to allow it to pick stuff up way down there. Let's set the seat position next. Underground loader. Let's also get F3B going. But our bounding box is nice and low, which is probably appropriate for this. The idea behind these underground versions or variants of the machines is that they can fit underground easier, right? So you'd only need a 3 high gap actual broken out for it. You know, the 4th block would be up here. Now, what does that mean for your head, though? Well, nothing yet, because we don't have it sitting inside of it. Cool. So mounted offset X, let's set that at 0. We'll have to break and replace it every time. It's just how this code works. Okay, we're inside the machine. No, it wasn't the X offset, that's why. Let's try 0.75. You like it going that low? Okay, so we need to move our... If this is the center of the machine, should we... That's where it's going to pivot from then. We kind of need to set the whole machine forward then. So back in our render code. Yeah, let's do that. So back in our render code. That's actually much better. Let's get a little bit more zoomed out view here. It could almost go the other direction, couldn't it? So if we do -10, let's try and get that bounding box mostly between the wheels. Wait for. That seems pretty good. Okay, and we need to go back further in the seat. It's probably the Z offset, so let's set it to negative. That's not too bad. And we just need an X offset on it. Oh, let's get the other direction. Yeah, I think we're in a block. Can I place their bounding box in the middle of the machine and then place them on the left of it without their bounding box? No. Where they are is where the bounding box is set. Let me also make sure I've got the 2 offset version of this being used in this. Do they all use 2 offset now? That could be. Machine mod writable. Get mounted offset X, get mounted offset Y or Z. Calculate offset. So let's look at something like the continuous miner, because it's offset by one side. Yeah, we had to do calculate offset, 2 offsets. So we need the same code in that one. When you just go along the one axis, the math's different than if you go do too. So, boop, problem solved. That's why it didn't look like we actually moved when I jumped in it. Okay, so let's move this the other direction then. Oh. Yeah, restart. We had to restart the code. That's why it didn't show up. Fair enough. I will eventually come back to Tower Crane. I didn't give up on it. Well, it starts. I'm going to step away for just a minute. Be right back, guys.
Wake up, baby, all the stars are shining bright. Yeah, we should stay up so that we can look at them all night. Just keep holding me, don't let me go. Everything's so magical. All I need is you tonight. If I shut my eyes, keeping them closed, all other senses explode. You and me under the sky. Let's stay up all night, give our hearts a new beginning. When we fell in love, every second, every minute, we were high on life. Didn't waste our time, didn't sleep as much as now. Let's stay up
Hello. Check.
Hello.
Okay, so did our seat position change? It did. Cool. Then we just need to make it bigger. Let's try doubling the size there. 8. Oh, we're getting close. Try 0.9 and 5. Let's see if we go back any. It's getting close. We definitely can go down some more too. Let's try 0.6, 5, and 0.6 back. That's the wrong machine. I'm actually gonna lower this more because the lower we get, the better chance we have of not hitting our head on stuff and suffocating in a block. That's probably pretty good right there. So if I go back to first person view, look straight down, we're pretty well centered in that seat. Let's see if we can't place some blocks. So we're 1, 2, 3. That's the bounding box of the machine, right? Yep. And then these ones would be not in her head, we'd fit under it. Game mode 0. There we go. So you can mine underground successfully with this setup then, and not take damage from suffocating in a block if you have a 3 high gap, that is. Now you couldn't see anything. It's a whole nother issue. Not sure how to fix that if you're going to make a room that small. You couldn't go in F5 mode, right? Maybe we'll figure something out for that later. That's the basics for that one, right? Let's go to its block break stuff. So it is calculating some position somewhere and trying to break specific blocks, snow blocks, sand, dirt, gravel, etc. Netherrack, mycelium, blasted stone. Could you raise the bounding box of the machine higher than the player? You might be able to, but then you wouldn't be able to drive into spaces, right? Like if I made it as high as the cap here, first off, it's going to move me up because that one calculation is based on the bounding box of this thing, right? So if I move the bounding box up, it's going to be based off of like 65% of the bounding box or something stupid. Then I can get myself below it probably, but the problem is still going to be that I can't fit through a block then, right? So then I need a 3 high or 4 high block. Let's take a look how that would look. So 1, 2, 3, and then the 4th block can go over now. But if we put it up to the top of the cab, if I can get my right spot in this mode. So 1, 2, 3 is enough now, so that would be okay. But if we moved it up to the top of the cab like this, then we need a 4 high gap, right? Let's see how that would look from a ceiling perspective of sitting in this thing. Did F5, we might be able to see some stuff. Wouldn't be able to see much, but you could see a little bit. So right now its height is set off of this, with the second one being the height. So currently it is set to what? 2.5 blocks tall. We made it 3.5 blocks tall. Be like that. So if we did our y offset by 0.4, we're sitting super low in the seat. But you couldn't suffocate like this, right? Is that what you were going for? You would just have to make sure you could blast a 4 high area. Now, let's take the regular loader in consideration. Is that what that thing is intended to be able to compete with, right? So right now, the loader, we still need a 4 high for the loader, right? So our head's not in the block. So if we left it at the 2.5, then you could still put your head in a block, but it would be a 3 high block instead of a 2 high block. So right now, to use this loader, you need a 4 high area to be in it and not be in a block. Yeah, because I'm underneath that block, so I'm okay. So we have to have this at 2.5 to make it work. Otherwise, you might as well just use the regular loader. Why did that not confect? Oh, wait, what? Oh, I did save it. Let's try 5 high. Way too low. My head's way too low, that is. Is it though? You know, my butt is in a little bit, but if we can get like that F5 mode there. Get something that's not massive in my hand. You can see my legs still, so my butt is not all the way through the seat. It's just down in it a little. And what's that do for us? If we have it at like this, 1, 2, 3. Obviously we couldn't be under 3, but if we had it at that 4th one, would we take damage? Ah. No, we wouldn't. We're still underneath it. That might be the way to do it right there. Okay, and then let's get a big old pile of blasted stone going. Blasted. Whatever. Doesn't matter which one. Right. That's what this one gives you the advantage of, right? Is it's shorter, so you can be in a smaller area with it. Trying to get a big pile of this so that I can mine away at it repeatedly. Can I do... fill? Let's say 65 to, I don't know, from 17 to 27. Minecraft or machine mod, blasted, machine, blasted, machine, blasted. Andesite, sure. That was kind of cool. I must be putting it in the air somehow. One of these times it's going to stop tumbling down the side because it'll be enough. That should be enough. Where is it gonna break at? Oh, that might be kind of accurate. The rendering of the items is off too, for sure. Let's see, so what if we did... Can I give myself a command block? Give me command block. I had an inventory slot, can I give myself a command block? Yes, cool. So, fill tilde tilde 1 tilde tilde 10 tilde 11 tilde 10 with Minecraft dirt dirt. And then we say pressure plate. Actually, let's just do always active and its repeater. Doesn't like the command. Oh, an extra L. Boom. And we're in dirt. And if I try and break it, that's what happens. So it should constantly fight with itself. Well, that works, but it's too fast. Can't see what's actually breaking. Not always active. No repeat. So it's impulse based. And we'll set up a hopper and clopper or a clock over here somehow. Repeater. So we'll have that getting strongly powered. And we'll just top down a lever. Okay. I'm not sold on the usability of this thing yet.
Of what?
The underground loader.
Oh. Yeah, that one pretty much is a fluff one.
Yeah, and it just seems it's all of its use is already there. Right? We've got other things that do all this. It's just shorter. And it seems so big. Like long, right? Yeah, so the reason I set this up is so we can see where it's breaking at, and it looks like it might be a little bit
I'll be right
too
back.
far back. Okay. Because we're already touching that with the bucket at the point where it's actually going to break it if we get out of this. Yeah, see the bottom of that bucket's already in that block, but it's not breaking that block yet. Like we need to extend it a whole block forward. From where it's at now. Okay, so let's do that. So we're saying offset distance is this one, I believe. So we'll go 6 and 6. Go back. So now it'll break if it is there. That seems appropriate. We put down. Yep, I think we're good. And like, it kind of needs to lift that high to be able to dump into anything else, right? So it's gonna have to look stupid like that. Let's break these blocks out. Fill them with dirt. Do this faster like this. Okay, so it is breaking down there. Like that bucket is as far down as it goes right now. To me, it should break one lower when it's further down. But I don't know if I want to let it, because that makes it not very usable from a play standpoint. Because it's too easy to go too far down and then dig yourself a big pit that you can't get back out of. Right? If it goes down one block at a time, you can step back out of that pit that you made. But if you go two, you're stuck. You can't get out. So that's what I'm saying. I think the bucket shouldn't go down that far. We need to limit it. So which direction is that? I don't remember. So we'll say -5. Wait, why bucket offset is greater than 7. So we need to limit attribute 1. Get min angle. The bucket is up. How about compromise a diagonal forward? Don't know what you mean by diagonal forward. Where am I limiting these attributes? There it is, max angle. Let's see if it's this one or not. I'm gonna set it to 0. It's probably Oh, right. We gotta replace it for that code to work. That's not the right thing. Underground loader. So right now that's as low as it can go, visually. Well, let's set it to 8. There we go. That visually looks like that. Which seems about right. Alright, so it'll be breaking blocks down at that level, the next level down. Its bucket isn't cutting into the blocks underneath it. That's all appropriate. I think that's good. Now, we might want to edit the list of what it can break because it is considered tier 2 or at least a 1.5. Actually, this isn't tier 2 anywhere, is it? Because it's not got the tier 2 logo. It doesn't have the tier 2 name. This was tier 1. Which kind of makes sense because it's intended for the blasting. I'm okay with this being tier 1. We need to fix the location of the items in its inventory. Let's get some other items in there just so we can see it completely. Width-wise, we're okay. We just got them too far up vertically, so let's look at that piece of code. Underground loader. There's going to be... We're not pushing or popping any matrices here, which is probably good. We're under underground loader. We do what? We have to translate here. So that's the translate we want to adjust, I believe. So it is currently going off of those two translates. So let's say 1. Okay, that's definitely not it. And 2, that one. Okay, that's definitely not it either. It's this one. Okay. 0.5. Let's make it positive. Okay, 0.75. There we go. That looks like an appropriate spot. Oh, actually back towards the bucket a bit, isn't it? Where it needs to be. So, I believe that was this one. Like 2. And down a little bit. 0.1. Oh, 0.8. There we go. Let's do down some more, I think. Yeah, down some more. Point 1. There we go. And can we pull them back in some more? That might be good. Let's get in it, drive it backwards a little bit, and put it up in the air like that. See how they look. Yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, so this thing needs its own GUI, right? Hit E, there's does nothing. So let's do that next. Let's see. So it's probably going to be in our network packet where it's determining which one we need to open up. Tile entity change. Inventory changed client. No. Okay, let's do this. There's gonna be a handler for the input event. It's gonna say E.
I'm back.
A fire. Handle key input event. There we go. Right. Okay, now I remember. Key binding. Just the entity today. Now this is the kind of far thought, but couldn't we have an endless spot for blasted cobblestone? I get what you're going for, so like a slot on it that would hold as much blasted cobblestone as you want. The problem is going to be two things. One, when we do this, right? So if I lift this up far enough, blah, all the items come out. You would think that's what you'd want until you have 10,000 stacks in it and do that and kill your server or your client, right? Because you got too many items on the ground. The other one I was going to say was when you get items in it and you pick it up, it does the same thing, right? It spits all the items out. Fully aware that the same thing could happen with the what's it called? The crate, which kind of are signing up for that with any mod that does that, right? Let's go kill this clock first. So we're doing machine mod. This one's open GUI, and then based on its type, we're doing a different GUI interface. So we need to get to those GUI interface screens. Here we are. Add another number. This one's going to be underground loader. It's going to be number 26. I'm going to come back to this code and just terminate because we're going to change all sorts of changes now. Here, we're going to put that in there, but we're first got to get this. That in there. That should be it. Save it. Then we need to register the GUI type stuff or set up the network handler for it. No, it's under init. Right? No, it's in our handler. GUI handler. Come on. There we are. Okay, so there's the laser level 1. We'll do it off of the laser minor one, because that's a tile, or not a tile entity. It's an entity. So we'll say GUI laser. Oh wait, underground loader. And we need to go to this and copy the one from the regular loader, because I'm thinking we'll have the same. Should we give it a bigger bucket? Like maybe 18 stacks instead of 9? Like double the normal loader?
How much does it really need to pick up?
Right, but I'm trying to think of a reason to even have the thing, other than it's just short. Because I haven't come up with a good reason in my mind to have it.
Yeah, and how many different machines have we added that are in that same boat?
Well, this is just taking it to the extreme, though, because literally the only difference is its height.
Yeah, but it's also for a realism thing, too.
I suppose.
See, Stream, I'm working for you.
Is he really, though? There's all that. Need to set up the GUI now. Make the original smaller. But I don't want to hamper the original either, though. Like, the original feels right. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I think if we made this originals have a smaller inventory, it would be useless. Oops. Let's just undo creating that, because that wasn't what I wanted to do. That was the track loader, not the loader. Underground loader, okay. Where is the loader? The heck? Oh, there it is. No, because it still breaks the blocks where you don't have to break. I personally also like the look of the actual loader more as well. You can still use the loader one for now. Your hand. Yeah, you don't have to break it by hand. I get what you're saying. I guess my point is, if we're making both of them, the underground loader and the loader in the mod, why would you pick the loader with its bigger size? You would only ever, like, you'd probably only ever want the underground loader. Is that not what I called the thing? Where's my entities? I can see its name. Oh, it's a capital G. That's completely inconsistent everywhere. I just typed all those names. Cool. Well, the other aspect is you could still use it as a sacrifice to get to the bigger one. Yeah. I get that different inventories. Like, I could see the regular loader being one that's easy to craft in comparison to this one, right? Make this one have to have the assembly table. But its only benefit in doing that is you get a shorter machine, right? And I don't know that that's worth extra cost to put into it. So why would I make this one if it's going to cost me extra resources just to be shorter? That's what I was going for. Okay, so that should be the pieces we need to be able to do the GUI. So we should be able to come back here now and say continuous or container underground loader. So here, under loader. Okay, and we'll go down here, grab the laser miners bit again. Thinking of a roller, another chest, and 15 steel for it. So I get the additional chest if we're going to make it more inventory space, and the 15 steel. But what do you mean by roller? Like the road roller? GUI. Underground laser. Underground loader. Okay, that should be everything. Give you a second. Okay. Let's see if we got it all set up right. I feel like there's another place I have to register this GUI at somewhere, but I can't remember where it is. The proxy client? No, that's not it. No, that's mod network stuff I'm thinking of. We're here. Yeah. Guess we didn't add another one. Yeah, this is the stuff I was thinking of. Should be good. Hey, underground loader. Oh, your inventory doesn't work. Why? Did we not add it to the network handler? That could be. Actually, GUI clicked server handler. This one. No, we did do it. Ah, it says laser miner still. Entity. Underground loader. Jump, jump. There we go. Make sure it shows up in the bucket. It does. There you go.
Hello. Hello.
Shift it back. So what do you mean by the roller thing? I mean this? That's a roller wheel.
Give me one quick second, 'cause this is gonna bug me nuts.
Okay, so we also need a image for this, right? That's our current one. So I'm gonna pull this off onto my other screen. Hey Trucker, how's it going? Let's create a new image. Actually, let's just cheat and grab one from our other piece.
Ought to be under settings.
Oop, in here. Textures, items. There's the loader one, so if we just copy this, paste it in new, we'll say underground loader PNG. Hey Garby. Wow, everybody's coming out. Another day, but I'm liking the look of the underground loader. Cool, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to transfer real quick.
Let's open this in the Photoshop. Why'd you open Photoshop brand new? Whatever. Oh. Say something again, Eagle.
Say something, Eagle.
Perfect answer, buddy.
Is your name Fiery? Let's first get rid of. Oh, that's way too big. Okay, let's get. Stop it! Stop it all! Get that color. We'll put it out. Really? Put it out there. Bye, Garby. those. Actually, let's do this instead. So we're gonna grab that, put it there, get rid of that. We're gonna select this front wheel. We're gonna move it forward a bit. Here we go. Let's deselect everything. We're gonna take this color. This all needs to be shorter, doesn't it? So let's do a select here. There we go. And
Push.
grab that. Something like that. Let's save that. Let's go to Eclipse and tell it to refresh that location because otherwise it'll never figure out that it's there, apparently. What I found before. Refresh. And then in the game we hit F3T, and in theory it should load up the textures again. Assuming that it does it correctly. While that's happening, Battle Royale. Because we can. Oh, did it load it? It did not. Trucker, Garby, Eagle, and me. I've got the clear advantage because I haven't touched anybody yet. Oh, now I'm getting the beat down. Garby gets the health. Oh, and I walk right underneath the health. No. Am I gonna get it? Yes. Garby gonna go down? Yep, Garby's gone. Eagle, sorry, you didn't do your exclamation point win, did you?
I did. Oh well. It only works like half the time.
Wow, and I ended it with full health. GG. Not sure I managed that one. Okay, so it didn't load my texture up for some reason, so let's take a look, see if we can figure out why that did that. Underground. We don't have something set somewhere. What that's about. Okay. So
The roller wheel, what I was thinking.
right, but the roller wheel, like, how does that fit into this? Like the roller wheels are meant to be like as wide as a road, right?
Well, you take the old one and you roll it down so it squishes itself.
Oh, you're talking about the old loader? Like you just
Yeah.
run over? Sorry, I wasn't catching on to that at all before.
Yeah, I could see that. Because I didn't say the other loader as well.
Yeah. That would be funny if, like, we just took, like, you didn't even have a crafting recipe for it, right? You just put the loader down and ran over it with the road roller. And the loader disappears and just turns into the underground loader. I'm not gonna do it because it's like a stupid joke, but that would be funny.
All of that stuff in your assembly table.
Yeah. I got what you're going for. Yeah. Oh.
Anybody else besides me that's got another head?
Do what?
There's 3 heads at your house now.
Oh, I put one of them on there. I'd found one the other day. Talking about Wither Skulls, right?
I got one more today.
Awesome. So are those the only 3 we've got then? Because I thought there was a couple in a chest one time, but I couldn't find them.
I got them back at my house.
Okay. So we've got
Yes.
one enough for one wither and a part of another, or we have enough for 2?
2 and 1 extra.
Okay. So we're getting there. Just taking a while. I think if we were to set up that other base, it would be a lot faster. Or the other fortress. I kind of forget what I was doing now. Oh, the GUI on this. I think we got it working. Right, because everything tested out okay. It all shifts in, it all shifts out okay. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay. Boop. Get rid of that. We don't have the texture though. Let's quit the game and restart it real quick. Make sure that's not the issue. Oh, I know it's not because we don't have the model set up. Is what it was. The item model for the loader is here. So we need to do the same for the underground loader. That's what was wrong. Let's find the underground loader then. Underground loader. And this part can go away because that was in there for me testing something and I need to fix it over here as well. Just trying to trigger an error, it did never happen. Sure the loader's not in here, it is not. Let's try that then.
Hello?
I might have to stop and get a snack soon. I never ate lunch. It's 2:30 almost.
Apparently only got 3 in the 2 and no extras yet.
Oh, okay. There we go. So there's that one versus that one. I think they look different enough in item form that people can understand what they are. Need to set
So I
that
beat my record of getting
up.
the biggest equipment.
What do you mean?
Bagger.
Oh, you got the bagger?
Yep.
Good grief.
Well, there goes a mountain.
Yeah. That's really the only thing that thing's good for. Is a mountain.
Well, it's good for.
Underground one word or 2?
Underground is one word.
Thank you.
Who else?
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Hi, Reaper. F3T.
Oh, so pretty.
F3T is what I said.
Oh.
I feel pretty. Oh.
He's so pretty.
Underground.
So it goes.
Look, it's not my fault that that movie was so freaking funny that it just stuck in my head this long. Like I swear that has to be the both of those actors' best movie ever. Like ever.
To be honest, I don't remember what movie you're talking about.
Anger Management with Adam Sandler and Jack Nicholson.
Okay.
I thought he was talking about a movie from the 60s.
No,
Yeah.
no. Oh my god.
Because that's the original where that reference comes from.
Isn't it like a musical?
No,
Yeah.
it's not a musical.
No,
He
the
was
original
talking-
one.
I don't
Musical
know.
and the
I've
original
never
one.
seen the original. I didn't even know there was an original.
We need a texture for the tower crane. Let's do that next. Items. Let's again pick on the loader. Why not? Tower crane. Open with system editor. Okay, let's get another layer going here. We're actually going to draw on that layer what this thing should look like because I want to keep the other one as a color palette. What we can work with. Let's try this first. Oops. So if we do this 3 wide, that'll give me enough room to make it look like an X in between. I'll do one of these to it. I don't know. Then if we go and say that, the room for the rigging is there. We do that. Pull the whole thing down though. Like that. Okay, let's grab this color again. We'll grab the black. Okay. And then we need a different color gray. Grab that for starters, and we'll just make it lighter. This here like this. Grab some black for the counter ballast over here. Grab some black for the line going down. And then we need the reddish color, right? The claw. I'll put this. Something like that. What do you guys think?
Sure.
is just save it as a PNG. Good grief. Yes, replace it. Okay, and then we need to go in here, say refresh. Then we need under models, items, tower, crane. Tower, crane, save. F3T. And it should load in very soon. And it didn't load. Tower, crane. Wonder if I need to refresh again. Let's just record it and restart it. Maybe it doesn't pick up JSON file changes, only texture changes. Still didn't work. Oh, it's a block model, that's why. That's exactly why. Delete this one. Instead, we can take. But seriously, it's a block model. We don't want to use the default render for it. We just want a texture. I don't know. Maybe the fermenter has one like that, or the. So what's the one block I have that. The fuel pump. There we go. We can copy this one. No, that's a block all still. Wait. What do I have that would work like that then? It's a block.
What are you trying to do?
So instead of it rendering the actual block in your inventory, I don't want it to render a block because the tower crane looks so unique, right? It's like 30 blocks tall. So it would look stupid in your inventory. Instead, I want to draw a picture on the screen. I guess the centrifuge is the closest thing. Machine centrifuge, look for that one.
I'm okay with you running with a 30-foot tall crane in your hand.
Right. That's total realism. Total realism.
But the problem's going to be like when we do that, it's going to like be off the screen. It's going to be stupid tall in the inventory. Like actual in your inventory. In your hand's a different thing. Yeah, that would be cool looking in your hand, but. Okay, so this What? The fuel pump has that? What the heck? That is not an actual rendered fuel pump. That's just a texture. Okay, the fermenter definitely does it. That's definitely not rendered. What? Okay, maybe it's under block states. Maybe I'm looking in the wrong spot. Nope. Hmm. Let's look at the fermenter. Log. Fermenter. Just says items fermenter is the texture. That was me sneezing. I had to be myself. Machine. Fermenter. Okay. This will be, what's the name of the tower crane? Machine tower crane. That's why I wasn't working. Machine tower crane. Before I didn't put the word machine in front of it. There. Reload now. I feel pretty fiery. There it is. Works for me.
I feel pretty.
Oh, so pretty.
I feel pretty and witty and bright.
Oh, that's the next part.
Okay.
Like, honestly, my favorite part in that movie though is where Jack Nicholson and Adam Sandler are already living together, and Jack Nicholson takes the breakfast that Adam Sandler just got done making for him and like chucks it against the wall.
Let's tweak that one bit.
Hey, I'll be right back.
Okay. So currently when this is calculating how many items are needed, it's not looking to see what's in the claw. Because that is part of it. And what the heck? Where is it drawing us at? Oh, I'm in the container. Do-do-do. Client GUI. Tower crane. Ground. There we go. Missing blocks. So we've done all this for each. This part in this. So we're looking at the inventory there. We say inventory get stack and slot for the tower crane. Get stack in slot, where are you? It doesn't work with slot -1. But is the claw slot available? Where is it? Here's the item stack. It's private. Where's it used at though? Okay, so we can get claw holding. That'll do it. So we say, okay, so that's the for loop there. Then we need to take into account what's in the claw, so we say this is going to be what? Items needed, so we do this loop again. Through there. We say get claw holding, which isn't going to work, is it? Because it's going to take an I inventory instead of the tower crane, which is of type. So let's do that. Tower, tile, tower, crane, tile, entity, tower crane. Okay. Terminate, and then we can say where this dot get claw holding in place of the word inventory. We don't need stack and slot. Right? Okay,
Yes.
so that should take into account everything there. Thanks for the confirmation, Reaper.
You're welcome.
Legs are going numb.
Add all required items. This is trying to do something called remove built. Remove built. This is doing what? This is going to remove what was in the inventory. And this is removing what's in the claw inventory. This part here is bugged, I think. Let's run it one more time, see if I can figure out why it's bugged, and maybe we can come up with some pattern that'll make it easier to detect what's bugged about it.
I'm trying to figure out what the bug is again.
Yeah.
So, what is it doing, Tech? That's buggy.
So this part's trying to calculate what is required of the blueprint. That's not in the inventory of the tower crane, right? So there's 100 stone that's needed to build this blueprint. You've put 99 in. You need one more stone, right?
Okay.
The bug though is it's not taking into account. Like, it works great when you just first start it. So if I just say build stone, it says it's 26 stone. It needs, I'm not sure why it says 26. Maybe there's one in the claw right now and it just doesn't know, isn't being there. But it should be 27. The problem is once it starts placing blocks, it doesn't need those first few blocks that it already placed, right? So I need to subtract out what's already been built. So I need to figure out from these coordinates up in the upper left hand screen, where at in the blueprint it's already at, and not add those items. And it's trickier than it sounds because in a normal array, I could say what's greater than that, right? So I've built the first 5, start at 6, go on for the rest, right? But this is a 3-dimensional array where the first 3 on the x-axis might be complete, but then I need to reset the x-axis and start all over for the z-axis of 1 and the z-axis of 2. And also for the y-axis of 1 and the y-axis of 2. Y-axis is, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have to figure out all 3 axes, but not those first 2 blocks. If it's already placed those first 2 blocks.
How about this? A opposite counter.
Opposite counter.
Where you have another program in the background counting down. Okay, I have placed so many items. What those items are.
And that's what I'm trying to do, basically. So it's a little bit different than what you're saying, but I'm calculating out the entire volume of the blueprint, everything, and adding them up. And then I'm saying, okay, I've done part 1 and part 2. Subtract those out. And that's what's bugged. So if we put the stone in here, let's put 16 stone in here. It's going to start placing it. It says it needs 10, then it needs to 9. And as we watch this, now it needs 10 again. Now it needs 9 again. Now it needs 10 again. Now it needs 11. Now it needs 12. Now it needs 10. That's what I'm saying. It's just all messed up because it's not calculating the subtraction out correctly for some reason, and I don't get why yet.
I think the biggest issue is it's trying to understand where that other block is. Then it relates to the tower crane. Oh, I have a block in my hand. Then the add-on from what you're counting is going back into it as well. Sounds really confusing on how I said that.
I can say I didn't follow that. I think I might know what you're saying, and I am taking into account what's in its hand and what's in the inventory, right? So by default, if I take every item out, boop, it says it needs 18. So that's okay. Let it stop moving. Okay, it says it needs 14 more. If I put 1 in, it's going to drop down to 13. Oh wait, it didn't drop down to 13. It didn't pick up what's in the claw still. What the heck? Let's take a look at that, because I'm subtracting what's in the inventory of the block and then also what's in the claw. Why didn't that work?
I agree.
Cloud Reaper agrees.
Thank you, Reaper.
So we would get the one item out, which would be the stone. It would say we needed, say, 27. We would... The claw is not empty. Or null, so we go into this part. It would get the item stack from the list. Get its item, and the same from the claw, and the same for the damages. And then the claw holding count minus the get count. What if we just say -1? Because we're only ever going to have one in the claw, and I might not have set the size of that properly or something silly. So then we check the count. If it's less than or equal to 0, we set it to 0, and then just remove that entire item from the array. And just skip out of the code so we don't have to continue to calculate. Okay. It needs 20. Yeah, as soon as it transfers out of it, it doesn't recognize it. Interesting. Is it getting into that piece of code at all? So let's get down in here. It's getting to there. Item stacks. Size is 15. Now it's 14. So it is affecting it. Does the client not know that it has that set to it? I thought it would. Because it should pull from the network code. Come on, open up. That's for the crate. And the tile, that message is dumb, so it should be able to figure out the stack size bit, if it's negative even. That's setting -1. Update code that's sending the packet itself. Crane position. So this is where we're going to send out the stack contents for -1, so that is sending it. And that's only done on the server. So the client should know that's how we're even rendering the thing.
Bye, Fiery.
Okay. Looks like I just got a message from work. I'm gonna have to troubleshoot something for work. I have to leave here in a minute. Hmm. Yeah. I might have to end here, guys. Work on this thing for work and then figure out what this is about later on. I might stream again, just depends on what the issue is at work. If I just need to restart a server, it's no big deal. It's like what happened Friday. It's going to take me several hours to fix it. So I will catch you all later. Bye.